Yeah, hey everybody. Hope everybody's well, and I hope you all survived the bad weather. And hopefully it'll stay dry for a few days. I wanted to make a video posting yesterday, but I have a problem with the software in the machine. It won't let me upload onto YouTube at the minute. So I'm trying it a different way, and hopefully this will work. So we see what happens. Anyway. As I say, I wanted to do a video posting yesterday, and I wanted to do it on Brian Lenihan's up and coming budget. And I was reading a few articles on it, and excuse me, what happened was came across a fascinating article, a small article from Monday's Irish Independent, and by a lady called Adele Kennedy, and I've put the link up there. You can have a wee look at it. And basically, it talks all about how millionaires are paying 7% of the tax burden, and why shouldn't it? But anyway, that's another bit. I don't want to go into that here. We've dealt with that enough over the past, in the recent past. But just fascinating. It said this is obviously a flag waving exercise, this article, to prepare people for what's in the budget. And just the way, but with the way it's couched, very interesting. It quotes Brian Lenihan. It says, Finance Minister Brian Lenihan has largely ruled out any changes to income tax or income tax bans, as he feels the burden is already high. Alright, then the next little paragraph, just have a look at it. A little sentence is thrown in, and I had to do a double take when I read it. It says, at the moment, the only direct taxation on workers will be the introduction of a carbon tax. So it's finally happening. In the early part of December, within the next 2 weeks, we are going to have a tax on what we breathe out. We breathe in oxygen and nitrogen, and we breathe out carbon dioxide and water vapour, and we're going to be taxed on that. Never thought it would happen in my lifetime, but it's happened now. So the only reason why this was of such portent to me was I happened to be at the weekend. I happened to be on one of the I do it once or twice a week. I go on the American channels on YouTube and have a look at what's happening, try and work out what's happening politically, because you get a bit of an insight into things, because you certainly won't get it on the American media. The American media is, I'd say, 10 times worse than our media for control, and it's all Muppet stuff. It's all for like RMS value in society. Like it's for it's serious. I better not say what I really think, but anyway, it's like comic book stuff. That's the best way I'll describe it. Okay. So one of the channels that I go to once or twice a week is Alex Jones. Now, I would not share a lot of Alex Jones' views on matters, but I do believe that he's a Democrat. I do believe he's a constitutionalist, and so I share that with him. So I'm prepared to listen to what he has to say, even though, to a large extent, a certain amount of it will be tongue in cheek. All right. But I was stunned at what he had to say at the weekend, because I did a little bit of work on it, and then I thought, well, maybe something will come up, and all of a sudden this thing comes up by Brian Lenihan. And he did a series of articles over the weekend, and you can go on to YouTube and have a look at them if you want. And what it's about is, he calls it the CLIMATEGATE, and what it is, it's a variant of Watergate. It's our modern day Watergate. And it all started last week, in the middle of last week. And what happened was computer hackers broke into a central computer in East Anglia University. And you might think, what the hell has that got to do with anything? Well, I'm going to tell you very, very quickly. In East Anglia in England, the university, a huge section of this university is given over to data collection for global warming. In other words, all of the balloons, the global warming, the research, the climatological balloons that are sent up, all of the research, the oceanographic research vessels that are out, the ships that are out doing research on the deep oceans, etc., etc., all of the Arctic and Antarctic research programs by the Americans, by the French, by the British, and all these various countries, and all, as I say, the balloons and all the stuff that is and from satellites and whatever. It's all fed into East Anglia. This is a major data collection point, and what they do is they take all this data and they feed it into computer models, and the output from the computer models is then given in simplified version to a crowd called the IPCC, and that's the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And similarly, that is sponsored by the United Nations. Not all of that. It certainly has a big influence on the United Nations thinking. And what happens is all of the data that goes into East Anglia is processed through computer models in East Anglia, then given to this IPCC, and they in turn pass it on to the United Nations and simultaneously pass the information on to all of the governments of the world that are interested in it. And the hackers, when they broke into the mainframe computer in East Anglia University dealing with all this stuff, they stole all the emails. They took all the emails. It was thousands of emails. These would be emails from the professors to the research guys to the professors talking among themselves. Because the way this would structure, this would be a head professor, assistant professors, and then all these acolyte doctors, guys with PhDs, who would be sort of like mini experts in their various fields. And these were all, this is what was going on. So a lot of it was scientific garble and scientific, had a scientific bent, if you know what I mean. A lot of it was coded in science terms. But a huge amount of it, a large section of this, dealt with the manipulation and suppression of data that was coming in from these satellites and from these ships and from these research vessels and from these what would you call them, research programs in the Arctic and Antarctic. So what was happening was, when the information was coming in, when it didn't fit what they thought the way that it should fit, if it was diametrically opposed to what they thought, they suppressed it. And they have bans set for the support for their policy of global warming that is human inspired. Alright? And they have bans set for it, as I say. And when the information was just outside the band and tipped against the band, tipped against their argument, they switched the information. They put it in favour. So what you have gone on is you have giant scientific fraud on a massive scale to support the ideological theory that man is behind global warming. And it's irrefutable. The university has already admitted that all the emails are in fact their emails. So how could you fake up thousands of emails? It's not possible. And how would you get the names of all these guys? And how would you know what you were talking about? Like to do this without it being real would, like, it's just not possible. It wouldn't be possible. So anyway, the bottom line about it is, it turns out now that a lot of this scientific so-called basis for all this global warming business, that we're behind it, that we as human beings are behind it, it's gobbledygook. It's fraud. So we have to follow that up. The 2 newspapers have been doing it. 2 newspapers have been involved in it. 2 English newspapers have been to the front of this. One is The Guardian, and the other, which covers it in much greater detail, is the right-wing Daily Telegraph, and I put the links up for you there. And this is like another Watergate. This is ClimateGate, and we have to follow this up. So this is my first little intro into it, and I'm going to try and follow it up either today or tomorrow, and we see where this goes. Okay, more to come. Bye.